After a long, hard-fought series, the Edmonton Oilers have officially defeated the LA Kings 4-2 in a six-game series that went back and forth. I was really impressed overall with LA. Of all the teams that didn't win first round, I thought they were one of the most impressive. They really fought hard in this series, and I got to give them all the respect in the world.
They deserve it. I watched every game considering I'm an Oilers fan. I was actually in the fan park. I was in the Rogers Arena. I was everywhere in this in this series, and I gotta say, LA, they deserve the credit. Ever since they got Kevin Fiala back, he completed that third line. That third line of Velarde, Kevin Fiala was very, very dangerous, and they were putting up a lot of points.
Yeah, this series was very high scoring. Obviously, the offensive power of the Oilers took over, and we saw it a lot in the last game 5 and game 6, where they just went crazy and scored 12 goals in the last 2 games. I mean, this offense is deadly. I was worried about this from the beginning. I knew this Oilers team had a lot of firepower, and I really just do see them going on a deep run this year. How they kind of dealt with that defensive structure of the Kings, even though they were kind of having troubles with it early in the first 3 games, they really showed in the last couple of games what they're capable of.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a longtime Oilers fan, and I have seen Todd McClellan coach our team before. And when in the playoff run in 2017, when things needed to be adjusted during the game, he never did it. He just kept everything the same no matter what the score was in the game. It's very different with Jay Woodcroft. Jay Woodcroft makes a lot of in-game adjustments, and I liked that. And I think that's another reason why the team won. Like Game 6, when the stick broke for Stuart Skinner. They didn't let the team down. The team they knew they were going to have to play harder, and they did. Yamamoto came up with that huge goal. A lot of production from the fourth line for the Oilers in that 6th game. Good for them.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, he tinkered with the lines a lot in this series. He started out with McDavid and Draisaitl playing the first couple games separately, and then he kind of put them together on a super line with Evander Kane, and then we saw how deadly that was, obviously, as you can expect. They're going to put up a lot of goals. But, I mean, real difference is special teams in this. Both teams really excelled on the power play. A lot of the goals for this series were power play goals. I mean, the Kings got a couple in the elimination game there. Edmonton got one again. Both these power plays were really solid. McDavid had a pretty good series, but honestly, Leon Draisaitl was the driving force for this win for the Oilers. This guy really took over. I mean, first 14 goals of the series he was on the ice for, really solid.
Yeah, Draisaitl has been amazing, don't get me wrong, but also I feel like McDavid is not playing 100%. I can tell by the way he's moving, he's not really 100%. I think he has some sort of lingering injury going into
with his leg.
Yeah. So, and I think it's very noticeable because he's not as fast as what I'm used to seeing him, especially in this playoff run. He hasn't been as fast, but. The third line has been very good. The McLeod line is very good. Like I said, and just now, the fourth line of Yamamoto and Klim Kostin has been stepped up huge in this series. It's been great. The one line that I thought could be better is the Nugent Hopkins line. I thought that could be definitely better.
No, definitely.
Nugent Hopkins in particular. Hyman obviously has been good. And when they moved up Nick Bjugstad in the 5th game, he was good. But I didn't think he had a good, strong 6th game. But Nugent Hopkins needs to play better in the second round.
Yeah, let's talk about this Oilers depth here. So it is deeper than past years. I'll give them credit. It's no longer just a team of Draisaitl and McDavid. This team does have other players who can step up. And I really got to call out Klim Kostin. In this series, man, whether it's the physical play, because this guy loves to bang and smash people into the boards, but also the timely goals. This guy basically won 2 of those 4 games for the Oilers, if we're being completely honest. I mean, the 2 goals he had in the elimination game 6, unreal, 3-point game. And then also the key goal he had early in the series that won them the game. Absolutely tremendous. That just like this guy just steps up in big moments, and he has that feel to me that he's going to be that guy this year who is the player who's on the 3rd, 4th line who really steps up and makes the difference in key games, kind of like how they had back in 2006 when they had Fernando Pisani score those million key goals on the run to the Cup.
Yeah, he has a very underrated shot. When you watch the goals that he has scored in this series, they were all really good shots from like far away. He has a very good wrister. It's actually surprising. And on top of that, he can hit, he can bang. Very important piece on our team. The defense could be better. I thought Ekholm was very good overall in this series. Could be better, but he was pretty good. The Bouchard actually played really well on the power play.
10 points.
10 points on the power play. He was unreal. Darnell Nurse was on the ice for some of those goals against. I mean, he could be better.
Kind of happens. You're kind of just used to it now. Yeah.
Stuart Skinner, like I said in the preview, I was a little worried about him, and rightfully so. He hasn't looked amazing at all, to be honest with you. Even despite winning the series, I still didn't think he looks good enough.
Yeah, that's going to be a big question mark coming into the next series. We already know they're going to be playing against the Vegas Golden Knights in the second round, which is quite the challenge. I mean, it's the 1 seed against the 2 seed. Vegas has been a pretty solid team for the last 4 years now. Really respectable roster, pretty much the same overall, minus a couple different pieces. You know that their defense is good, so Edmonton's offense is going to have to really continue to be as elite as it has been so far. But the goaltending and the defense is a bit of a concern. Stuart Skinner, I mean, we saw him get pulled that one game. He didn't look absolutely elite by any means. Not to be offensive, because he had a really good year overall. I do find him kind of to be a little mid. He's kind of like one of those goalies I just see as like goalie 15 to 20 in the league kind of thing. So he's going to have to step up and really show he can be a little bit better than that if they want to go on a run.
Okay, I'm going to flip the script now. I'm going to talk about LA because LA deserves a lot of credit in this series as well. Starting from the offense, I think, like I said before, Kevin Fiala really helped the offense. I thought when Velarde came back, he helped a lot on that third line.
Yeah.
Adrian Kempe, let's talk about him.
Adrian Kempe, by far, to me, I mean, I know Fiala point per game wise was the most dominant technically, but Adrian Kempe was the star of the Kings. I love this kid. He's unbelievable. His talent. He reminds me, honestly, of a mini Braden Point. Like, he is just like a slightly worse version of Braden Point. This guy has a lot of energy, very fast. Good shot. Gets a shot away quick. You can tell, I mean, the guy's had multiple 30-goal seasons now. Really solid. Has great chemistry when he plays with Kopitar as well. Who, I mean, Kopitar, side note, played pretty good for an old man, not going to lie. He looked pretty good out there still. But Kempe just absolutely right now has proven that he is not a fluke. And he is an absolute stud.
And I thought Philip Deneau had a good series, actually. He did a really good job diffusing that some of those top players on the Oilers. So
it's the hardest job in hockey.
It's the hardest job. He did that in Montreal against the Toronto Maple Leafs that 1 year as well. And he's been good. But what do you think about Quinton Byfield on that top line there?
See, I'm, like, once again, I don't want to like be offensive. You know, I know some people take offense when you don't love every player on their team, but Quinton Byfield, to me, I just don't see it the same way. He's been a little bit better than the last couple of years. Obviously, he's getting older, more mature, kind of growing into that big frame there. But I mean, I just don't see it in the way that he's going to be some future superstar. Not to drag on this, there's other players on the Kings I can see that can become pretty mega stars. Fiala, you can already see at young age, he's still so dominant. Kempe as well, right? But Byfield just doesn't seem like he's going to be more than maybe a second, third liner to me in the future.
What do you think about their defense?
The Kings' defense is good. Mikey Anderson impressed me a lot. I'm going to call out Mikey Anderson because he did a heck of a good job in this series. He's proven he's definitely worth that new contract. It's probably going to grow to be quite a steal. I mean, really good deal, actually. But other than that, like, Doughty played really well.
He played really well considering his age.
Yeah, I know. Doughty had a good series too.
Yeah.
Key goal by Sean Dorsey in this series. He was really good too. Honestly, overall, I was pretty impressed with this defense given the assignment they had to do until game 6 and 5. 5 and 6, they didn't look the best. They were letting a lot of shots through to Korpisalo, and they weren't really blocking up the lanes as good as they could. Like, some of these goals, like even the game winner by Yamamoto, kind of like no one was able to knock that down or block it, and they kind of screened him. So, I mean, it's kind of unfortunate. But, I mean, honestly, if I was a Kings fan, I'd be really excited for the future because you have a pretty young team for the most part, and you have a lot of prospects coming up.
And you have this very good defensive prospect coming out in your system.
Oh, Brant Clark's going to be the man. Like, Brant Clark's going to be a future number 1 defenseman. There's no question in my mind.
So my last question for you about the LA Kings is, what do you think about what should they do with Korpisalo?
See, this was a weird year for me. We saw Phoenix Copley come into this team from Washington and kind of be like the shocker of the year. This guy won like 20 of his first 25 games. And then they traded for Korpisalo, and they kind of just like split the goalies and then ended up running with Korpisalo in the playoffs. And well, I will say his first 4 games were phenomenal, and he was an absolute stud. You could see that he's not necessarily a number 1 goaltender in game 5 and 6. Like, I mean, the magic kind of ran off. I mean, I don't know if Phoenix Copley is either, but I feel like this is a long-term thing that the Kings will have to address. I mean, I think their defense is pretty scrappy and pretty solid. And like I said, they have young kids coming up that can fill those voids. And their offense, like, they're loaded with prospects in the AHL and just on the team as it is. Like, Arthur Kaliev's going to get better. Turcotte, when he's healthy, should be a good future piece. Byfield still probably be second, third line center.
Velarde will get better.
Yeah, Velarde looked solid this year. He had a breakout year for the first half. Lots of stuff, but the goaltending long term is something I'd have to say needs to be addressed.
But a very good future for the LA Kings. It was a very hard-fought series, very good series though.
No, honestly, overall, really good. And congrats to the Oilers and their fans for making it through to round 2. And we will have to see how this goes against Vegas. I'm kind of excited for that series. I think it'll be a good one. So stay tuned for our review where we will preview that series and go over what we think will happen. Until next time, take care and have a great day.
Take care, guys. Bye-bye.